Yo, guys, I feel like I'm beaten up. I feel a little bit fluish because the season is changing right now from winter to whatever, spring, right? To spring. So partly I blame this car though. I blame this car and I'll explain why. Listen, we have the Citroen C3. I don't know what to call it these days. I don't know whether to call it a hatch or I don't know, because it looks like SUV now or crossover. You call them crossovers, right? Yeah. You'll forgive me, guys. I promise you. This flu thing is playing games with me today, and I feel a little bit beaten up because I've been working since morning. But listen, work's gotta continue. That I understand. I don't even have my mic here. This phone is gonna help us with the sound. But listen, this is the top spec Max, which means you get the PureTech in here, 1.2 liter turbocharged engine, and yeah, we'll talk about it more when we are driving. Overall though, you can see that the C3 has really taken a different shape from the previous one, because the previous one was clearly hatched, right? This one is the C3 as we are seeing it right now. But listen, I want to show you around before we hit the road, which is going to be a little bit later, and then we'll see how then it goes. I need to move. There are cops behind me. Okay, the cops had plenty of space to pass just here, so we're going to continue just on the outside of the vehicle. As I've already indicated, I don't know what to call it these days, but this one, it doesn't have the accessories which you can also add. You know, there's Citroen ones where you can do the like this fender stuff and so on, where you get the rubber plastics on the sides and so on. So it looks quite Citroen like, which when it's plain like this, it doesn't necessarily give it that character that we get from Citroen. And the design overall, I feel like the change, because like I'm saying right now, I don't know whether to call it a hatch or what, but it gives me that thing that, you know, I'm not sure if it still has the same character. Just in front right here, yeah, I think it looks more like the bigger SUVs in terms of the design language. You can still see that it's a Citroen in a way, and these ones here are the DRLs. That's how they flash during the day. And they do, like, when you're looking at both sides, it's like they're doing like X of some sort. So that's what you get here. A bit rugged when you look at the bumper and everything else. But yeah, I don't think there's anything that doesn't scream Citroen here. You can see that it's still a Citroen. And those fog lamps right there are not LEDs. Back in the day, I heard that when fog lamps are LEDs are not as good as when you put the halogen ones. The actual lights in this case are LEDs, which is quite good, I guess, in this case. On the side right here, with this Max, you do get these 15-inch rims, because the Plus doesn't come with the rims, it comes only with the wheel cap. You can see that it has some mirrors that are black. Also, the roof rails are also black. When you come to the rear as well, you'll see as well that it is, yeah, this is a different shape for me, man. Yeah, okay. On the lights here, you can see them. They do have some element of design, but they don't look like LEDs. Also, the indicators as well. Everything right here at the back is light bulbs. Let's get into the boot, because in here, you do actually get sufficient space. It's not as entirely like crazy impressive, but because it's a small car after all, you actually do get sufficient space. I think it's just above 300 liters. I'll confirm on the screen as well. You do get the full spare wheel, because they're running on 195/65 R15. That's what you get in here. Of course, this is a budget car right now. You're not expecting that you'll be getting things like your electric tailgate and all those things. Nah, that's not something that you'll be getting in here. Let's jump into the back. This seat as well, if you want to take it down, you take the whole seat. Doesn't do like 60-40 split. And you can see it's just cloth seats, because of course they need to manage the price and everything else. Yeah, I had a team in here and they've already done some damage with the debt that is in here. You get 2 USB A's right here and nothing else really that you get at the back, besides the fact that it's quite spacious. Because this is my driving position, and when you look at it right here, it's quite sufficient. Because this thing has a long roof as well, it does actually assist when it comes to that. Let me jump to the front and get in. You can see that when it comes to top spec, of course, it's leather covered steering wheel, multifunction. Of course, what you'll see here is that it doesn't have cruise control, and the key as well, it just has lock and unlock. Jump in as well, you still need to put it in. This is not a stop start system. Start it, and yeah, digitized everything. From the instrument cluster here, which complains every time that you tap it, like when you're starting it, of course. And this screen as well looks quite good. I actually like how it looks. Yeah, right now I think the phone is just doing some, what do they call this thing now again? Refresh rates or what? In camera language, you guys will tell me. Yeah, but hey, listen, you get auto control right there. If I put it on auto, it will decide. But this is where I was saying to you that despite this coming with this events right here, I put it like every time when I'm on heater, I want the events to face down, even on both sides right here, because I don't want the heater to blow on my face. But in this car, I tried as much as I can. Even when I put the mode right here to go face down, it's still blowing towards my nose. For some reason, sinuses and everything else, they start picking up, and I have issues sometimes. Otherwise, you do get Android Auto that is wireless. That's another thing that you're getting as well. Let me start it, and then we will see. Aye, man. That's the reverse camera with the sensors. That's what you're getting as well. But hey, you know how it goes. I'm going to rest a bit, then we're going to hit the road, and we will talk about this more. So far, yeah, you know, my time with Citroen on the road, man, it's always interesting because I'm no longer shocked though, because the first time I got into the Citroen C3, I think it was back around 2022 or 2023, I don't remember very well, but it was a shocking experience. I drove it like from here to Northwest and back, and yeah, it was an interesting one. And the very thing that interested me was the engine. This engine that is in here, it's actually, yeah, we will talk about it on the road. But listen, this one is the top spec Max automatic transmission. It has the 6-speed auto, and currently the lineup starts with the Plus, which you will get for manual transmission. It doesn't come with the same engine as this one. As much as it's a 1.2, it doesn't have turbocharged, meaning it's pushing out 60 kilowatts and 150 Newton meters of torque. Then you can get the Plus, the Max rather, why am I saying the Plus? You can get the Max manual transmission, which also doesn't come with a turbo. And it looks like this, of course, but the difference then is that it doesn't have the same heart as this one. This one comes with a 1.2 liter PureTech turbocharged 81 kilowatts, 205 Newton meters of torque. I'm saying it like it's big numbers, but hear me out. This thing weighs just around 1 ton, so it's lightweight. And that's one thing that is interesting about the Citroen. Let's start it. Let's start. Okay. I don't know why it does that. I have my seatbelt on, so we are on. Let's see what. Okay, you can see that it has some Android Auto. What is this thing now? Wireless Android Auto. That is nice. Now we will deal with all this stuff later, man. Let's cancel that, and maybe if I turn on the lights, then the screen will be a little bit, because it was too bright for me right now. So when I turn on the lights, of course it goes to the dark mode. Then it's easier to actually look at right now, especially when it's getting dark a little bit like this. Almost the same time that I did with the Honda Amaze, which is like 5:30 or so. I feel like it's the optimal time to shoot, but in winter it's not always the best because it gets dark easily. So 81 kilowatts, 6-speed. Let's see how it pulls. And when you're pulling it from standstill like this, it doesn't feel like it's giving you much because you're trying to force everything out of it. At the end of the day, you're still dealing with a small engine, and it's boosted by the turbo, of course. But here's the thing. When you're already on the road, you're trying to overtake, you're trying to, like whatever that you want to do, increase the speed and so on, that's where it comes alive. It really, really comes alive. And I promise you, it's not a lot of cars that can keep up with this thing. And by that, I include some of your faves, some of your very faves that are turbocharged, that have 1 liters and so on. Because this thing actually moves. It actually moves. It may not look like it because it looks so innocent from outside, but it actually moves. And that's one impressive thing about it. One thing that I think was a deterrent for Citroen was the prices, because the previous generation that we had of the C3, which I feel it, you know what, it had to be like that. And I'm still mad at Citroen for making this one, because I feel like the quirkiness that was there was making it what it is. I mean, even if a lot of people are not buying it, but the quirkiness and how it looked was the charm that it had. It came from the fact that it looked a little bit unusual, but when you look at it, you can see that actually this thing is a quality car. You can just see that. I loved it for that. But this one, I think it's confirming. They're confirming a lot when it comes to the looks and everything else. So from that, you're like, why Citroen? You look like now it's like anything. I mean, it's, what is this car now? Atos. And you know, it's like Atos. I don't find Citroen charming anymore. You know, with Citroen, you used to look at it and be like, I can go with my wife, with my girlfriend to just some romantic dinner, whatever that is. It was chic. You know the French streets where you're gonna have some baguettes and or whatever they call them in French, those breads. That's what I felt about Citroen at the time. But right now, I feel like they're confirming. I don't know if it's the worst thing though. I really don't, because at the end of the day, the best thing to get from any brand is to sell, especially if you're not like your Rolls Royce, where you're not necessarily targeting the whole world. If you're selling budget cars, you want to sell numbers. So I can't really blame them for that from business perspective, because what I've seen on the road is that I've started seeing them quite often. I see the lower specs though, because this one at 300k, you start asking yourself, what can I get? You know, the moment you touch around 300k, you start asking yourself, oh wait, what can I get? Because it's no longer only competing with whatever is new, but you're also thinking about like second-hand cars, your demos, like the one in front of us right now, this Tiggo 4 Pros. You start thinking about that. So that is the 300k mark, what we are seeing currently in the market. But when you're starting with it from down low, that's when you start seeing the interest coming in. Because, I mean, 250, 260, this car fell. Oh, here's another one. Then the other one is, yeah, sideways. So, wait, that thing disturbed me. But at least doesn't look dramatic. So, what I'm trying to get to is what sells with Citroen in this case for me has changed. That's basically what I'm seeing right now. It has changed. And right now, it looks like it's tapping into a popular kind of brand in terms of what they are trying to achieve. I haven't had anything from them, so I'm not 100% sure if that is the case. But what I'm seeing on the road right now is that I'm starting to see them. I've seen that it's getting awards, especially this C3 as one of the best vehicles, city cars that you can get. So do I blame people that are actually looking at it like that? Not really. From external design perspective, it's, yeah. But when I think about it as a vehicle, I mean, it's not that bad. Especially when I'm thinking you're getting it for around 250, 260. You get something that I'm not sure if it can say it's SUV-like, or because it's raised quite high. I mean, the ground clearance here is around what, 180 millimeters or so it's raised quite high. It's less than 4 meters, and this is high. I'm not sure about the measures here, but this ceiling is quite high. So it sits between your typical SUV, like your Tiggos like this, and your normal, what is this, hatchbacks? Because the previous one was a clear hatchback. This one, like, it's in between, man. You can't really say, I'm sure, what is happening with it. So yeah, it's, people love cars that are raised a little bit. Maybe that's why now it's appealing to a lot more audience than before. Because the previous one, of course, it was a hatch, and people, when they were looking at it, they were like, oh, should I spend this much? Well, maybe I can pick up a Polo I-20 320, or what else has been bought like in that. I mean, Fiestas were there at the time and so on, so there was a lot of, yeah, I'm not sure, because of the price as well, which I feel in the Stellantis group, that's sometimes the challenge, because the likes of the Opels, the likes of the Opels, when they come out, they are quality vehicles, but you're thinking, yeah, yay, I'm not sure about that. But their engines, that's where things are getting interesting. I'm not sure how the natural aspirated ones perform, but when it comes to the turbocharged ones, that's where things get interesting for me. Like this one, I can't pass now because we're about to get to the curve there. I can't pass now, but I wish I could, so that you can see that this thing is not lazy at all. As a matter of fact, if this is the Tiggo 4 Pro, I think it has 105 kilowatts, if I remember very well. Based on the weight that this car has, if he was to pull now, or she, I wouldn't be scared to actually pull just after, and then I will pass. That's how much I'm confident with this Citroen. So when you see it on the road, don't just, especially when you see this PureTech one with the turbocharged, don't think you can just keep up easily. This thing moves. This thing moves. One thing probably that I don't really like is this transmission, and that's what I felt even with the previous generation Citroen, because the way it behaves, man, it's like it has these delays. It's a little bit jerky in terms of how then it's feeding into each gear. So from that, I feel like, man, at least the steering wheel, it's like I can't even complain about it. It actually performs quite well. I wish that car was a little bit far so that I can just overtake. I want to overtake so that I can try and bring my point across. There's a Suzu behind me. Please get me in before that curve. I will get okay. Let's see. That's it. I can't hit this line, unfortunately, but listen, that's the confidence that you get. Unfortunately, when you get to curves like this is not where you're gonna have fun, because this thing is sitting on tires that are quite high, and as well it's raised quite high, while overall length doesn't necessarily support the proportions for you to enjoy the curves. It doesn't feel like the previous one because it was a little bit lowered, and it had like tires that are a little bit like the aspect ratio in this case, the width was a little bit open. So this one, when it comes to this 195 65 15-inch, yeah, it's not nah, you see, when it comes to the engine, no, I can't complain there. I can't. That's something that I will always applaud Stellantis for. Your 1.2 turbos are proper, and I know the 1.6 as well. The likes that you can find in the Peugeots, I think the 5008 has that 1.6. That is a proper engine. That thing is, yeah, it's crazy. I love it. It's probably my favorite 1.6 in terms of how it pulls and how it performs. This 1.2 as well. I mean, the VW's 1.0, it's actually, yeah, it's, everyone knows that that thing is buttery smooth. It's amazing what they've done with it. But this, if it wasn't for this transmission, I was gonna lean towards it, especially because when it comes to this one, it's just so lightweight. Yes, when you're pulling it like this, it screams, but once you're on the road and you settle down, woof, listen to it. It was giving me the last gear, like after I pulled the accelerator, like after my feet was off the accelerator. It was just, is it my foot? I said my feet, guys. So yeah, that's what you get out of this performance. That suspension and everything else, I think the tires are supporting it quite well, and I love the insulation, especially because this is a budget vehicle. I'm not expecting like crazy insulation in it. That's something that, of course, you don't expect from a budget vehicle that you can get for 250. But the wind noise and everything else, yes, when you're driving at higher speed, even when you're doing way above 120 and so on, that's where you're gonna feel like there's a lot of wind noise. But the tires that they fitted here, I didn't check the brand, they're performing quite well, man. From the road noise perspective, just that these panels, because a lot of this stuff in here, everything is plastic. That's where then, of course, you will expect that the insulation will be, compromised a little bit. But overall, I am not mad at it. I am happy with it in terms of what it is and what they offer. I don't know what you feel about it, but overall, if you were to look at this vehicle, to me, the thing that makes it worth it is definitely the engine. If you paid with this 1.2 turbo, I'm happy. That one, that doesn't have the turbo. I mean, we've driven the Honda Amaze. We've seen how a 60 kilowatts-ish and 100 and something, early 100s Newton meters of torque can do, because that car is not heavy as well. But is it giving you something special on the road? Not really. And that's where this one comes in when it comes to this, because when it comes to these kind of cars, there's a lot of compromises that you make. These are the first time kind of cars. I don't think a lot of people will really care about the engine itself. But for me, I care. Like when I was driving the Mahindra XUV 3XO, which somehow, like if you're comparing the two, it might be competing with this, and the prices are crisscrossing each other. You start thinking that, you know what, the competition is not as easy as well. And Citroen, is it well trusted in the country right now? I mean, when I look at the Chinese, the way they're coming in strong, I mean, Mahindra is not sleeping as well. There's a lot that you can get out there. I mean, the Suzuki's as well, they are not sleeping. I mean, there's a lot that is happening out there. So from that perspective, competition is not going to be the easiest. But if I was to look at it as a vehicle and say, performance-wise, what is it that you can get? For me, if I don't pick the XUV 3XO, which is probably, I mean, when you want one that has proper performance, you're gonna pay around 450. So that is like a lot already. From that, I'm still looking at this and thinking, which one can give you the performance that this one is giving you? That is like a hatch versus SUV like that you can compromise on. I'm not sure which other one is there. You guys will tell me in the comments. But performance wise, I'm actually quite impressed with this. Listen, if you want to pick this up, after sales, you will get a warranty that is quite reasonable. 5-year, 100,000. You get a 2-year service plan, which I'm not necessarily happy with. A 30,000 service plan. So after 2 years, you will be on your own. But when it comes to vehicles like this, you're not going to be paying much. You're not going to be paying much. Sound system, sometimes I feel like I don't need to tell you about sound system. Yeah, it has a 6-speaker, I think it's a 6-speaker. It's not something that I can say, you really have to bother with it, but it's enough. When you're driving on your long distance, you can still listen to your music, not pumping, but so you can hear that it's nothing to write home about. But hey, I mean, you have a sound system after all, and you're getting this screen here. I mean, yeah, don't be mad. Don't be mad. When you're on the road, of course, it's supportive. You can take your seat up and down and so on. But yeah, this is the lowest it can go. I feel like it's still a little bit high, so they can actually allow it to go a little bit down. Fuel consumption, guys, yeah, that's where maybe you won't be impressed. But the thing is, it has a very little tank. 30 liters of tank like capacity, and then you get like 6.3 on paper. Right now I'm averaging 7.3 because I've been doing a lot of runarounds in town. On the highway, I believe it can go lower in this case, so it's not that bad. But with 30 liters of tank, I understand they needed to manage the weight of the vehicle. So yeah, you're gonna go to the pumps quite often. Why are you stopping? Because I need to conclude. Are you stopping or what's the story? Okay. 7.2 now. So I'm busy going down on fuel consumption. So yeah, guys, I think besides that, you will decide what you're picking in the market. You know what we do. I show you everything else that the car offers, and then you go and make that decision. I think they've done a great job, and now they're trying to appeal to a greater market in terms of what is happening right now. People are getting these crossovers / SUVs and so on, so I understand why they made it like this, but I can't say I'm happy about it from my side, because I love the previous vision for what it is. It was quirky, it was weird, loved it for that, but overall it's not about people like me who are reviewing cars. It's about the masses. With that said, guys, I appreciate that you've been here with me today. Really, really appreciate it. And I am out.